What is going on, everybody? It's the Frauds, and we're here with our AEW on TBS review for February the 2nd, 2022. Now, tonight's show is in Chicago, the biggest show of the year so far, and also was headlined by CM Punk vs MJF for the very first time. Now, going into the show, a little over 24 hours ago, we got a message out on Twitter that Tony Khan had booked a match, Jon Moxley versus a recently released from WWE, Brian Kendrick. That match did not happen because less than 24 hours before his match was supposed to happen, some butthurt jackass piece of shit on Twitter, decided they didn't like the fact that AEW was getting another talent from the WWE, so they went back into the Wayback Machine, 2011 time, and decided they wanted to dig up as much dirt as they could on Brian Kendrick to ruin his career. And all I have to say is no, what Brian Kendrick said was not right and shouldn't have been something he should be documented saying. But fuck off, everybody in cancel culture, you stupid piece of shit motherfuckers. Leave everyone the fuck alone. 11 years have passed since that has happened. People change over time. Views change. People's attitudes towards things change. Was it right for him to say it? No. But you don't need to go and try and dig something up just to try and ruin somebody's career because they left your precious WWE, you stupid motherfuckers. Am I defending Brian Kendrick? No, I don't even know exactly what it was. It's some kind of anti-Semitic stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But the fact that it happened, it's conveniently, he was in WWE from 2016 to 2022. 6 years. Not one time did anybody bring this up. Not even during the Cruiserweight Classic, when he was having those matches and giving us some great matches and then being on the Cruiserweight division on Raw and then 205 Live. Not one fucking time did this ever breathe the light of day. Why wasn't it a problem then? All of a sudden, this guy's going to make his debut against Jon Moxley on this show tonight, and you decide, oh, now you need to go dig this shit up because now it's an important thing? Why wasn't it important 6 years ago? 5 years ago? 4 years ago? Why is it important now to bring it up just to ruin somebody's career? Because you can't stand the fact that Tony Khan was giving someone else a chance at his company. Are you that fucking pussyfooty butthurt that somebody wants to go to AEW because they got sick and tired of watching the WWE kill what Triple H made a great fucking brand? Go fuck off. Just seriously, go fuck off. We don't need you in the wrestling community if that's how you're gonna fucking be. This is just what cancel culture does. They sit there and they take somebody could be up for a prominent position, and something they said 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago will come back and bite them in the ass and ruin their lives. It's not right what Brian Kendrick said, and it's not right that it ruined his chance to come out here and show us what he could do against Jon Moxley. Nobody wins in this end, and if you really think that you going out there and digging this shit up and splashing it all over the fucking internet for people to see makes you a good person, it really fucking doesn't. Grow the fuck up and move on with your fucking life. How about that? Now, tonight's show was supposed to start off with Jon Moxley versus Brian Kendrick, but we got Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. Now, I know, people like Tony Khan put the tweet out saying he's going to find a replacement, and people seriously thought, oh my god, it's going to be Keith Lee. It's going to be this person. It's going to be that person. It's like, this was something that came up mere hours before the show went on the air. Unless Keith Lee or Karrion Kross or Killer Kross or anyone else was going to make their debut tonight anyway, they weren't going to be the ones replacing Brian Kendrick. If this would have happened, if they would have made this announcement on Monday, and then he got taken out of the match on Tuesday, that'd be one thing. But literally, Tony Khan pulled him from the show mere hours before the show went on the air. So of course it would be somebody in-house. So Wheeler Yuta did come out with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, so Danhausen, I guess, is now aligned with the best friends of Orange Cassidy, at least. Why? I don't fucking know. But Jon Moxley is able to take down Wheeler Yuta while the fans chant for Danhausen, who's at ringside. Yuta manages to crawl into Moxley and then hit a dropkick. Moxley goes to the outside to take a minute, and Yuta attempts to dive, but Moxley catches him, only for Wheeler to reverse it into a dropkick. Reverse it with another dropkick. However, back in the ring, Jon swipes away and attempts a dropkick from the second rope. Moxley then takes things to another level with a big chop. He follows with a power driver. Yuta attempts a chop on his own, which has no impact. Jon puts him on the top rope, hits two of his own. Yuta then jumps down for a fighting out and hits a step up enziguri before a splash in the corner. Moxley attempts his finisher, but Yuta reverses and drops the former champion, following up with a splash, but the only gets a 2 count. Moxley hits an open-handed one shot and then locks in a sleeper hold. He releases and connects with the King Kong Lariat before hammering him down with elbow strikes, then the Death Rider for the 1, 2, 3. Wheeler Yuta put up a little big of a fight, but Jon Moxley picks up the win. Afterwards, Moxley turns around and he sees Bryan Danielson inside the ring. He says he asked the fans if they want to see them fight. Big yes chant. He says for as long as time as he wanted to see them fight because Moxley was different. Bryan says since he's come back, we've seen a new Jon Moxley. Deep inside, there's always be a part of Bryan that wanted to test him. He saw him as AEW World Champion. Bryan says he was the best World Champion. He thinks if Moxley had some support, he'd be World Champion. He'd still be World Champion. That's when he realized they shouldn't be fighting. They should be fighting together. They gets a yes chant as well. He says he gets the fans love AEW, but there's no reason a millennial cowboy should be World Champion, or someone dressed as a dinosaur should be a champion, or someone whose biggest contribution is creating a vlog should be champion. He then tells Moxley that they could run this place and says they could take anything they want. They could take someone like Daniel Garcia and mentor him and retrain him to the future, to be the future of professional wrestling. He says Jon doesn't have to answer right now, but he wants him to think on it of the possibilities. Very, very interesting. Now, obviously, this Moxley's going to turn this down because Moxley don't need nobody. Moxley going to go out there and he's going to have a match with Bryan Danielson at Revolution, and that's what this is leading to. But I like the possibility of Moxley, Danielson, and Daniel Garcia. It's very interesting, especially with the talk of Trios Championships and how they could be the guys to take Daniel Garcia, who's a psychopath as it is, and make him an even bigger psychopath and eventually be a TNT champion or a world champion. It'd be very, very interesting. Brandi Rhodes is in the ring and says everyone is so nice to her in Cleveland, but they're in Chicago. However, she is immediately interrupted by Dan Lambert, and I just didn't really care. Basically, this led to Paige Van Zant coming down and pretty much beating the shit out of her until the rest of the women's locker room could come out and break them up, and that was that. Which, all I gotta say is that nobody likes Brandi Rhodes. Dan Lambert's supposed to be a heel. Dan Lambert's supposed to be the guy that you want to boo. But you bring him out here, and the reason they want the whole Cody Rhodes thing supposed to be going on with Lambert and them off and on is because Cody's desperate to try and get cheers. And if Dan Lambert's getting booed by everybody, well, surely Cody will get cheers. Brandi will get cheers. Obviously, that's not happening. You're going to turn Dan Lambert babyface just with associating with these guys. Come on. Do something else. Matt Hardy tells Private Party who's disappointed them in the backstage. He tells Sammy Guevara he wants the TNT title and says, I care, Cassie will take that shot. He then asks Jody when Darby Allin is, but he says more money is in the situation. And I really didn't care. I swear, it's like every time you see Andrade on TV, you're like, man, what has happened to this guy? There was a time where he was like the talk of the wrestling world back in his NXT days when he was NXT champion. Match after match after match was like a match of the year candidate against like Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black at the time. This dude was fantastic. And then he went up to the main roster and did shit. He's been here and has done next to nothing. And I'm just thinking, was Triple H the only one who figured out how to book this guy? And it's just every single week, it's just have that question of, was Triple H the only guy who knew how to book Andrade right? because I haven't seen it here either. House of Black, Kings of the Black Throne versus Penta Mjf and Pac. Now, the Kings of the Black Throne come out first. Penta comes out. Then Alex Ambrijantes comes out with Pac holding him on the shoulder with the tape over his eyes, or the blindfold over his eyes, to make it seem like he is still blind and he's about to come in this match as a blind man. So Pac starts the match off. He's got the blindfold on. Him and Malachi start the match. Malachi goes for a move. He avoids. Then he goes again, and he avoids again. Then he lights up Black with a series of kicks and pulls the blindfold down. And Tony Schiavone says that was a ruse and nothing but a ruse. Which, you kind of spoiled that last week when he took the blindfold off in that promo, and boom, he could see. So yeah, you kind of spoiled that last week. So this didn't surprise anybody. It would have been one thing if they would have left the blindfold on in the promo package. So Brody comes in and turns the tables on his opponent. Power advantage connected with a senton. Black then returns to the ring and maintains his control. However, Pac's speed gets to his partner, and Penta begins lighting up both of his opponents, Brody with the big DDT. Penta is able to get back in and sends a bigger man out. Then he stands up and flips over the top rope for crash onto Brody. Continuing his moment, Death Triangle looks for the fear factor, but Pac gets launched from the top turnbuckle. This allows Black to spray the mist while the ref wasn't looking. Connects the double team finisher, also known as Dante's Inferno, which I could not remember what that was last time. But that was that. 1, 2, 3. The Kings of the Black Throne. Which, for whatever reason, when they made their entrance, it said Knights of the Black Throne, even though it's Kings of the Black Throne. Pick up the win. So, it was a pretty good match. I don't know where they go from here. Are these two teams done? Are we done with the whole Death Triangle versus Malachi and Brody? What is going on? What's going on with Julia Hart? Was she supposed to join the House of Black and they got cold feet or something? I don't know. There's a lot of questions with the House of Black, the Kings of the Black Throne, and everything else, and where they're going with it. Adam Cole is backstage, and he is not in a happy mood. He tells everyone his record is still reflects he is undefeated as a single star, but he doesn't get the respect he deserves. And the next person who tells him Orange Cassidy beat him, he's going to slap the taste out of their mouth. He says he promised his fans will see a new side of him, and he claims he will fight and beat Evil Uno on Friday, and the world will know what he wants. So, that, you can definitely tell that Adam Cole is definitely not happy with the fact that even though it was unsanctioned, he lost. But because it was unsanctioned, his record still shows undefeated in singles competition. Adam Cole is not to lose going into Revolution because Adam Cole is the number one contender to the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and there ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even with the results of everything tonight, Adam Cole is still the number one contender. And when he goes to Friday night and beats Evil Uno, he will still be the number one contender. And after next week, when Hangman Page wins and is still your AEW champion, at Revolution, it will be Adam Cole versus Adam Hangman Page for the AEW title. And that's when Adam Cole will lose, because Adam Cole is not beating Adam Hangman Page, because Adam Hangman Page is keeping on to that title until he loses it to MJF at Double or Nothing. So, a match in the Irrelevant division, don't really care. Now there was one, who gives a shit. Gun Club is shown backstage attacking Jungle Boy, throwing him into the snow, and starting to beat him up when Christian Cage and Luchasaurus make the save, and that was that. So that match is coming up soon. I'm hoping they're not trying to drag this out for the pay-per-view, because this is not a pay-per-view match. I'm sorry. Just get it over with and get us to an actual pay-per-view match coming up. Tony Schiavone is in the ring, and he brings out Adam Hangman Page, speaking of the World Heavyweight Champion. He said he's been AEW champion for 81 days, I think is what he said. And he's only defended the title twice. And since day one, he's been asking for challengers, and here he is with nobody so far. So, what are we going to do about that? What is going to happen with that? And he wants to know now what's next. Not too long after that, out comes Dan Lambert and Jake the Snake Roberts. Let's see. Dan Lambert and Jake Roberts come. Dan said the soft-ass Cowboy would have been better off in Cleveland where they canceled their Indians. Robert tells Hangman to shut up. He says Paige is acting different. He asks if he's scared. He keeps talking. Lance Archer appears and tells him to shut up as he heads up for Paige. Paige dives to the outside and sends him into the stairs. However, Lambert then hits him with the chair, but of course that does nothing. Paige looks to get Lambert, but his shoulder this provides an opening for Archer to regain control. Slams him upside the stairs, then he launches him through the table with a blackout and says, next week, everything changes, and next week, I will be World Heavyweight Champion. And that was that. So next week is a Texas Death Match. Obviously, they're doing this to make sure that they can protect him. Lance Archer, that is. There's no reason that Lance Archer should be going into a singles match and losing. But my question is, when this is all said and done, what's next for Lance Archer? Because you know Lance Archer is not winning this match. There's no fucking way Lance Archer is beating Hangman Adam Page. There is no reason for Hangman Adam Page to lose to Lance Archer. So what do they do next? This is one of the biggest problems that we've seen with Lance Archer. He gets a big match like this, has the match, loses, and then just seems to do nothing for the next 3 to 6 months. They need something for Archer the moment he is done with this match. This isn't going to be a 2-match feud. This is a one and done. Lance Archer loses. Hangman moves on. Lance Archer could go for the TNT title. For all I care, he could be the one to beat Sammy Guevara. That's what I would do. He's not going to beat Hangman Page, but at Revolution, he could be the one to beat Sammy Guevara and win the TNT title, a title he should have won the first time around, but didn't happen. Didn't happen the second time. Here's his third chance. He beats Sammy Guevara and becomes the new TNT champion. But we will have to wait and see on that. Chris Jericho shown backstage, he's like, Santana and Ortiz, what you did last week, blatantly not tagging me in, was disrespectful. And for what? Because of Eddie Kingston? Because you guys grew up together with each other? Nobody has more influence in this company than him, and he wants to hear from them face to face, and that's why he's demanding a full Inner Circle team meeting next week. Everyone better be there because it is mandatory. And then I'm looking at my clock, and it's like 9:15, and here comes MJF. The main event was the next 45 minutes. First off, the match did not need to go 45 minutes. Even with what they did halfway through the match did not need to go 45 minutes. So, MJF versus CM Punk. This was it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. Again, did not need to go 45 fucking minutes. Here's the thing, and I get sick and tired of this. A match does not have to go 45 minutes to an hour to be a great match. 15 minutes. We've seen great 15-minute, 20-minute matches. Was there any fucking reason CM Punk versus MJF had to go the final 45 minutes of the show? Could they not schedule another match that went 10 minutes at the most, giving these guys the last 30 minutes of the show? There was no fucking reason this match needed to go 45 minutes. Or close to 45 minutes. And could you please, AEW, stop having Tony Schiavone or anybody be like, oh, we're gonna stay on the air as long as we need to, because every single fucking time they do that, the match that they're talking about ends and the show goes off the air on time. If you're going to tease that you're going to stay on as long as possible, do it at least once. Go 2 or 3 minutes over at least once to make it seem like it actually matters, because 10 times out of 10 that's just them talking bullshit. So they have this match, they fight. CM Punk trying to get to MJF dodging, which is what MJF likes to do. Now, halfway through the match, we're at 35 minutes left in the show. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And the referee turns around and the MJF grabs some tape, wraps it around CM Punk's neck, and then starts putting him in a camel clutch or a rear naked choke. Not a camel clutch, but a rear naked choke. That's what I'm thinking of. And gets him down, and CM Punk passes out. And I'm thinking, there's 35 minutes left in this show. It's 9:35. There's 25 minutes left in the show. There's no fucking way this match is going to end like that and be over. So no, it did not, because the referee found the tape, went over to Justin Robinson's like, no, this match is not over. This match is going to continue. So they wrestled for another 20 minutes. Again, the match did not need to go around 45 minutes. There's just no reason for it. To anybody who tells any of these professional wrestlers that a match is not great or good or fantastic unless it goes 45 minutes to an hour, needs to be knocked in the head. Because that's total bullshit. Just because Okada likes to go 60 minutes, because Omega goes about 60 minutes every time, or Bryan Danielson goes 60 minutes every time, I did not need to see CM Punk versus MJF go 45 fucking minutes. Utterly ridiculous. I will say, I do give props to CM Punk for pulling out the Pepsi Plunge for the first time in about 17 years. The reason he stopped using the Pepsi Plunge is because it's a pedigree off the top rope, or off the middle rope. And you can't do the pedigree, or you couldn't do the pedigree when Triple H was at the height of his power. So he had to get rid of that and started using the Anaconda Vice. Then he got this GTS. But yeah, the fact that he pulled out the Pepsi Plunge and it wasn't the finish was crazy. But of course, he hit the Pepsi Plunge and he went down and he was selling his knee, so that's why the match did not end. MJF rolled away a bunch. Match comes to an end when MJF rolls to the outside after... Was it the Pepsi Plunge? No. Let me see here. Oh yeah, he gets an elbow drop. MJF kicks out and rolls to the ring, and he's on the outside. And Wardlow just comes down, and he comes halfway down the ramp, and he's just standing there like, do I really have to do this? Do I really have to do what MJF wants me to do? So he comes over, steps over MJF, and gets right in CM Punk's face. He doesn't say anything. He just looks at CM Punk, and then he backs off and backs to the side. CM Punk throws MJF into the ring. Then CM Punk gets back to the ring slowly, keeping his eye on Wardlow. Wardlow slowly comes to the ring ropes, is going to come up. MJF comes from behind on CM Punk, hits him with the ring, and Wardlow gets back down, walks away as MJF pins CM Punk 1, 2, 3, and picks up the win. And then after the match, we see a camera angle when Wardlow was walking over MJF. He somehow handed the ring to MJF, allowing MJF to pick up the win. Now, this was the right outcome. CM Punk losing in Chicago. I'm sure CM Punk doesn't care about losing in Chicago. He's not Bret Hart in 97. He's coming in here to try and get these guys over and get these guys to the next level. MJF beating CM Punk is the biggest win in MJF's career. Is this over with? I don't think so. I could totally see a rematch at Revolution with the same outcome. MJF is not going into Revolution to face Adam Hangman Page. He's not even in the top 5. So why would MJF just go from beating... neither one of these guys, if I'm correct, were in the top 5. So why would either one of these guys win or lose, win the match, and be number one contender automatically? That would be stupid. No. MJF beat CM Punk tonight. MJF beat CM Punk at Revolution, and then he starts campaigning for a world title shot at Double or Nothing after Hangman Adam Page takes care of Adam Cole. That leaves Hangman Adam Page that leaves MJF for Adam Hangman Page, and Adam Hangman Page will not be able to overcome MJF, and Adam Hangman Page's title reign ends at Double or Nothing. It should not go any other way unless injury, illness, or something else gets in the way. Overall, a pretty good show tonight. Again, it does lose points for me just because the main event, did not need to go 45 fucking minutes. Get something else in there. Have Wardlow do some Powerbomb Symphony or something. Get something else, because there was, like, the fact that you started the match at 9:15 was utterly ridiculous. I mean, I know both guys could go, but you could have taken out 10 minutes of this match, or even 15 minutes of this match, and still had the same outcome and a pretty damn good match. You didn't have to go 45 minutes. Matches don't have to go 45 minutes long to be a fucking classic. Good grief. The sooner AEW learns that you don't have to go 45 minutes plus for a classic match, the sooner this company will start getting better and better. Until then, they're just going to be stagnant and stagnant. But that is your AEW review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Mods at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club, and find me on Instagram at The France Club. Next week is the AEW World Title match, as well as the Inner Circle meetup. So next week in Atlantic City is going to be a big deal. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.